As promised, I am doing live in Q&A for the small business owners. If you own a business, whether you're generating $0 a month in revenue or 5,000, 15,000, 25,000 or 100,000, every business experience challenges. Every business will run into one. And you, as the visionary, the owner, or the leader of the company, you need help in a fresh perspective. If you ever wonder why do organizations hire people from other cities and states? It's not because they don't think the people in their community are not deserving, or the people in their community are not qualified to take on jobs and positions of leadership in an organization. One of the main reasons boards of directors or groups of leaders hire out for leadership positions outside of the city and state that they're in, because you get a fresh perspective. So as a business development consultant, I am your fresh perspective for your company. You may be the CEO, you may be the visionary, you may be the leader, you may be the nonprofit leader, the philanthropist, the entrepreneur. And I would like to give some clarity, so I'm going to just ping pong and I'll sit here and I'll be here for an hour. So I'll be working in the background. I'm still going to work. If I see someone pop in, this is just like you're hanging out with me while I'm working from home. And I would love to get you all to come into the space and just ask any question. You know, one thing I've learned is that a lot of people sometimes are intimidated or afraid to ask questions because it's like you want it to be, it's presented to where you have everything going on, it's going well. But I see a lot of business owners suffering, and it's not always financially. So sometimes it's just burnout. Sometimes it's the hustle and the bustle of constantly going and going and going to maintain the revenue you have coming in. So there are a lot of different aspects. When should you hire a team? When should you start considering getting some development training? When should you get some type of personal development excursion involved as a CEO, as a leader? How do you increase your sales? How do you gain more customers and clients? It's all these burning questions that business owners have, and this is your opportunity. So share this live. If you don't have a question, share this live. Sometimes, a lot of the times, like most of the clients that I help, most of the people I serve, most of the business owners I serve, they are prideful and they don't want people to know that they need help. I want to change that narrative. I literally want to change the narrative in our communities when it comes to businesses and owning one or having an idea and being an entrepreneur. I want you all to be comfortable to know, listen, I've had the privilege of serving millionaires. I've had the privilege of serving six-figure-naires. I've had the privilege of serving people who make 5 figures and under. I've been too in my own journey, starting from zero revenue to increasing my revenue every year. So we all have these different challenges. And, you know, as a business development consultant, I want you all to get comfortable with asking for help. Get comfortable with asking questions. You know, a lot of people reach out to me all week long. I have people that book consultations, they can't follow through with them. Sometimes they have to reschedule. Sometimes they reschedule 10 times and over. You know, it's a lot of different things in life that keep us from being able to follow through with our visions, with our ideas, and even with our actual business that we've started. And so this is your opportunity right here, right now. I am going all the way in for you all to get what you need. So if you have a question about your business, if you have a question about the idea, if you're struggling with clientele, if you're struggling with sales, whatever it is, there's no question too stupid, too smart, too small, too big. I think one of the things that I've seen, especially in certain communities, people are extremely afraid to voice that they need help. People are extremely prideful when it comes to saying, I don't know what to do. And it is okay. You could be making $1 million and still not know what to do. So having a business development consultant, some of you call it a business coach. I feel like business coach and business development consultant is its own 2 separate lanes. because my focus is to develop your business at every level. I meet you where you are. So if you are at zero revenue, or if you're making 25,000 a month revenue, or if you're even making $1 million a year in revenue, my goal is to make certain that you are being met with what you need from me. And as a business development consultant, you constantly need to develop your business. I did a master class recently with a company, and they are in the UK, the United Kingdom, and it was about 200. It was like 100 people on the call, and their businesses were all around the country. I actually picked up about 3 clients from that call, and I had about 15 people reach out. I think it was more like 67. It wasn't 100. It's like 67 people on the call. So even with conversions, I had everybody in the chat on that masterclass. They were excited. They were involved. They were connected. But I want you all to understand, conversions is real. It's a real thing in business, and it's extremely hard to convert a person, a lead, to a sale. And when I say it's hard, it's not because they don't want to do it. Like, most sales are easy. For example, if you need toilet paper and you have toilet paper, you're going to sell that toilet paper. But when you're doing things like service-based businesses, you have to actually sell yourself, because you're part of that product, because it's the service that you're creating. And so one of the things that I've learned in the consulting world, you have to be extremely popular. The more popular you become, the more the demand becomes for you. Well, this is the opportunity. I've had a slight demand increase this year, and I do know it has a lot to do with the rooms that I've been invited to, and the impact that I've made in those rooms for them to invite me in more rooms and for me to get exposure. I've had the privilege to work with some of the greatest people on planet Earth, and I am super grateful for everything. A lot of times I sign NDAs, or I have you sign a confidentiality policy. So I understand that there are some things in your business that you cannot disclose, and you don't want people in the public to know. So I'm not asking you to come on this live and ask questions that would put your business in a vulnerable space. If you have those type of questions, I am encouraging you to book a free 30-minute consultation. In that consultation, if you have one with me, my goal is to hear your challenges and help you have solutions that you can implement with or without my help moving forward. That's the gift of giving. I believe in serving my people. I believe in serving small businesses, whether you hire me on or not. So when you do a free 30-minute consultation with me and you take time for your vision, you actually get solutions right then and there. And I mean, I'm giving people real solutions. I remember I had a consultation with someone earlier this year, or a couple months ago, maybe a few months ago, and I gave her a vision. Not a vision, that's the wrong word. I gave her a strategy. It's her vision, her business, it's already running. I gave her a strategy that was so excellent. She ended up being positioned to actually implement that strategy, and she didn't. I watched her do everything but that. What that tells me is, when people say, I'm not getting sales, I'm not making money, I'm having too much competition, I don't know how to handle the competition. When you tell me those type of things and we come up with a strategy that actually works, and then you're positioned to implement that strategy and you don't, you're telling me your business is just not important enough for you to keep it alive. And you're telling yourself that. Not only you're telling yourself that, you're telling the universe that. Like, this energy cycle works. Everything is, it's a cycle. What you put out comes back. And so I open the floor today for you all to ask questions. I'm wanting you to ask questions right now. I know it was a little impromptu. I made the announcement yesterday. I shared it again this morning. And I know how Facebook does. Facebook shows your post to who it wants to show it to. But a lot of you all seeing this run across your notifications where it said it's going live. Some of you think you know everything, and so you don't ask for help. And then by the time you actually need the help, you've either spent all your money that you had to pay for help, or you've done it alone so long and you want to do it because you've got it figured out so well that by the time you actually need the help, your business is closing. And so one of the things that I'm encouraging you, business is not personal. It should never be personal. It may be a personal passion for you, which is great, which is excellent. You do need to be excited about what you're creating. You do need to be excited about what you're implementing. But you don't need to cry about it. If I cried for everything that I went through in my business as a business development consultant, as a personal empowerment speaker, and when I say personal, because I push my clients straight to the top. It got to the point where where I actually hired on a team member to support those individuals in the personal development space so I could focus straight on business. Because when you're handling business, you really cannot have any emotions. And a lot of y'all are too emotional. So that's just some things. I'm just giving some tips while I wait for people to tap in. It's 10:16. I'm going to be here until 11 o'clock. It's 10:16 my time. I'm going to give you a full hour. And I just believe that one of the things that I've learned in this journey, I'm going to give you so many different types of perspectives. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage you all, to get a fresh perspective. Even if you don't hire me, even if you don't want to do a consultation, even if you're wanting to ask a question, but you're probably nervous to ask the question, I still want to encourage you to hire help, right? This is, I know I'm capable, qualified, and an expert of helping business owners and helping entrepreneurs and helping philanthropic efforts. And the reason why I say philanthropic efforts, because sometimes philanthropists are just entrepreneurs. They just give money to something that sounds great, is great, profitable, marketable, and they would put their money behind it and they get a kickback on the very end of it. And they get a return, of course, in the investments. And then you have the most of the returns on the investments is you actually making an impact in the community. So not all nonprofit leaders, not all philanthropic efforts are ran by nonprofits, is what I'm trying to say. I've had situations where I basically, something just fell upstairs and I'm at the house by myself. So that was pretty cool. I said cool. But anyway, I basically enjoy giving fresh perspectives. And when you help people, so I help people and serve businesses. When I say people, they are business owners, they are entrepreneurs. And I am going to do you all a favor, because my community, you have been using the word entrepreneur so incorrectly. You are not an entrepreneur unless you have some level of idea and money to take a calculated risk and invest in that idea. You do not manage the idea. Entrepreneurs, they give the money, they give the idea, and they make sure it gets the money and the investment it needs to get off the ground. An entrepreneur do not manage that do not manage that risk. Meaning, if you have $20,000 and you invest in an idea and it costs, it's a $5,000 idea, you put $20,000 behind it, and you let the person who idea it is run it, you will be considered an entrepreneur. A small business owner is the person who manages that risk, manages that money, manages the day-to-day operations, typically are CEOs, typically are executive directors. That is when you are a small business owner. And most times these titles are interchanged in a way where you think that it means the same thing. But 95% of you all who say you are an entrepreneur, you are not an entrepreneur. Unless you have put a bulk of money into an idea and you do not manage that idea, you are a small business owner. A small business owner, for example, have you ever seen when those large malls or apartment complexes are built and you see someone swipe in and they drop $1 million on the investment, and then they're somewhere in Timbuktu and they're not dealing with anything? Nobody's calling their phone. Nobody's asking them, what do we do next? We need to get tenants. Can you help us get that is a small business owner. So this is why you see people make investments. Entrepreneurs, they invest, and the rest is on the small business owner to manage. Now, you can be both. You can be a small business owner and an entrepreneur. For example, say if you start a business and you put your own capital in and you put $20,000 into the business and you get the business off the ground, you manage it, you connect with the community. A small business owner connects with the community is interested in connected in the community. An entrepreneur is only interested in making money, okay? And making money. A small business owner relies on the community to exist. Entrepreneur don't rely on the community to exist because they're having money to put into the idea, and it's the job of the person who manages it, which is the small business owner. And you can be both. I know one company, they put their own capital up, got their money, their loans, or whatever they use to get it, get it, they were the personal guarantors, and they ended up selling the business. And so that made them an entrepreneur. The moment they sold the business was the moment they became an entrepreneur, right? So when they were managing the business and running the business, they were a small business owner. The moment they sold it, they can now call themselves an entrepreneur, and they can rinse and repeat and do that over and over with other restaurants, other companies, other ideas. So I just wanted to give y'all that clarity, because a lot of y'all are saying I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm not going to lie, I was one of those people too. Before I became more versed and more qualified and more trained in my area, I was misunderstanding what entrepreneurship meant. And so people still use it wrong, so don't shoot me down. People still use it incorrectly across the globe. But I just wanted to make sure whoever run across this live that you at least have the knowledge and understanding of the terminology, because terminology actually leads you to more perspective and understanding to execute. If you know that an entrepreneur is an investor, a person who takes the calculated risk and puts some revenue behind some money behind something, an idea, versus the small business owners, the person who manages that investment, manages that risk, do the day-to-day operations, want to get connected to community because they have to, because they rely on the community to exist. Those are different principles and understandings we need to have, because it helps you start gearing yourself with a different mindset. If you speak that you are a small business owner every day versus an entrepreneur, it'll actually make you stand up a different type of way. So I'm encouraging you, if you think you're an entrepreneur, just ask yourself this: what thousands and thousands of dollars have you invested into what thousands and thousands of dollars have you invested into an idea where you gave it to someone and let them run the idea as a small business owner? And so that makes you an entrepreneur, small business owner. You manage those investments, you manage those risks. But anyway, just to give y'all that tip on the entrepreneurship or the entrepreneur word versus small business owner, because I feel like once we understand the words we use, we can have a different accountability in how we show up for it. So I have had entrepreneur endeavors where I invested $10,000 into a business. That's not a lot. It was a return. So typically entrepreneurs get a return on their investments. Small business owners, you got to get dirty, honey. You got to get in there. You got to manage it every single day. You got to get with it. It's not a day you can skip or a minute you can skip. Even me doing this live with you all today is me doing my business operations. I love serving my community. So this is me doing my philanthropic work, where I give you some answers to your challenges, to your questions, to your concerns, whatever you feel you have going on, no matter if you're making $1 a month or $1 million a month. And I love to speak on this because I've had the privilege of serving zeronaires to millionaires, and it's a different perspective, and it's been all across the world. And so I'm very grateful, but this is what we need. The reason why I always encourage people to get a business coach or a business development consultant, because it brings fresh perspective to your ideas. It brings fresh perspective to your business and your visions. And you as a visionary, as the CEO, no matter what type of revenue you're bringing in, you're going to run into challenges. It's inevitable. Starbucks, I did a masterclass in the United Kingdom with Let's Level Up, and it was 67 businesses in this room across the country and across the world. And when we were talking, I used Starbucks as my case study to help people understand that even companies like Starbucks, who went to over 100 investors to get them to come and step behind them, and they hired in Howard Schultz, and he came in 5 years, and after that he made that company be what it was. He bought the company from the original 3 founders, bought it from them with them after working there for 5 years. He bought the entire Starbucks idea and vision, and he made it what it is today. And even beyond the 50 years it's been around, for over 50 years, it is still under constant development. They're still working on how can we be more sustainable in our practices, how can we take care of planet Earth. They're opening up roasteries still. So even companies who are making billions a year and have thousands of employees are literally still paying for help. They are still hiring consultants. They're still hiring coaches. They have a team of advisors that's on payroll, and they still go to other countries and get different perspectives from different people. So I want to use that as an example today for people who are not on the level of Starbucks, and tell you that if they are still seeking development, series as it relates to making sure the company stay alive for another 50 years, what do you think you should be doing as a business owner? Every single business owner needs a coach and a consultant. You need a therapist, you need an advisor, and you need a business coach. And typically a business coach can be an advisor. You also need someone in the financial space. You also need someone to help you manage your finances, because we get that money coming in, especially when you start rolling in more. Like when I'm working with millionaires, I haven't touched $1 million in my company yet. So I haven't, and we're working on it though. But I've been blessed to serve millionaires. And so even knowing that, when it comes to a business coach, it's not about how much money I'm making, it's about my ability to help you. And so that speaks to itself with me telling you this. I know we have challenges. I know we have problems. Thank you. Hey, Shane. I just seen it. Hey, peace, brothers. So yeah, I know we have challenges. I know we have problems, and I'm here to give you some solutions. A lot of times we just need a fresh perspective. And I was saying earlier, if you replay the live, I was saying earlier that it's a reason why companies hire outside their cities and states to get people to come in leadership positions. It's not because they don't think the local community are not qualified or they are not good enough. It's because of fresh perspective. A person who lives in Texas have a different mental construct from a person who lives in Chattanooga. And so when you live in Texas and you're coming to Chattanooga, you get to bring your perspective to Chattanooga and to bring the collective. So now you have a little bit of everything running that company, and this is how companies stay around for a long time. I guarantee you, if you do some research and you research the companies that have been alive for a very long time, they have perspectives coming from everywhere to shape the narrative of their visions. And this is how you keep sustainability. My goal is to not make you rich, is to make your business sustainable for generations to come. You just need to have some profits. It needs to be a good business. And a lot of us, we have ideas and passions, and it's just not a good business idea. And that's okay. But when you hire a business coach, whether you hire me or not, I am telling you, if you own a business and you are a small business owner, if you are a nonprofit leader, you must have someone who is capable with a stretched perspective. And I always encourage, get somebody who's been around the world. Get someone who served the world, because me working with business owners across the world. And when I say that, I mean that with so much passion, because it's a different perspective. I had a guy that he does baking in his home, and he lives in a little itty bitty town outside of London. And he's literally like, it's like a town of 5,000 people. How am I supposed to get these 5,000 people to come into my home and do this baking idea with everyone? And so his perspective is totally different, because it's from first and foremost, they speak different languages. He happens to speak English. And then secondly, they don't have the business enterprise the way we do in America. So it's a lot of different things. So this is why I'm telling you, you need to have someone who has a broad perspective, because what you are going through, you as the driver, you are in the seat. You're driving the vehicle. You will not see those blind spots, and you cannot see ahead. A great business development consultant, a great business coach and advisor, they can see the entire map, because why? They have perspective. They have helped people across the world. They understand the industry of business. Like, you can't just know one type of business. Like, I help people and I work with business owners, and we serve clients that does everything. I've served a client that wanted to stop dancing in the club, and she wanted to be a high level escort. Now, I helped her turn her business into a more high level escort business, to where she could do private parties with a security guard right on team, and have other sisters in there working the rooms with her, get her more private experiences, and she get more money for her buck, versus having to go into those things where you're dancing in the club. So that's as low as it goes to me when it comes to me as a business coach helping someone, but no room and there's no door I won't enter. Now, if it's a bad business and it hurts the world and it hurts the economy, I promise you I will not get involved in it. So I'm not helping the drug dealer be a better drug dealer. But what I will do is I help a drug dealer come out of that illegal life to be legal and invest in something that can make them legal money without them having to sell drugs. So I do believe in helping people make legal money. If it's a market for it, we're going to run it, right? If it's not going to hurt the economy, we're going to run it. That's the way I see it. So I am very choosy and selective with who I work with. A lot of the people I've served, they have me under NDAs. They are NBA players. They're, even bigger than that. Some of them are handlers. Some of them are in the alphabet community. If you know what the alphabet community is, you know what it is. And I'm also just registered the company to be, now we are able to work with the government. So Uncle Sam, Systems Award Management, we are fully locked in and we just are going up to the top with it. But I really want to encourage you all to understand, no stone is unturned when it comes to Rosetta. So I will go in every room with you. I just like to encourage you all to not be afraid to ask for help, to not be afraid to ask those questions. I'm giving you some context on me because I know this is the first time in a long time that I've actually presented myself at this capacity to say, hey, ask me anything. But like I was saying before, some things you can't ask out loud. And this is one of the reasons why I have to sign NDAs. This is one of the reasons why when I served the NBA player that I served, I was under NDA. This is one of the reasons why when I served that particular group, they signed my confidentiality agreement too, but their NDA kind of supersedes my confidentiality policy. And so that I'm telling you all that because not every question that you have needs to be disclosed. Some people have visions that are worth millions and millions of dollars. One of the people that I served, I had to sign an NDA, and I can talk about the experience, but I can't talk about the person. I can't go into too many details. But what I can tell you is they hired me to help them. They had some money and they wanted to bring in some more revenue for the money. It's a nonprofit endeavor. And they hired me to give them a strategy to make $1 million in 1 year. Now, here's the thing. Let me tell y'all a secret about Rosetta. Rosetta haven't touched $1 million in her business. But if you have the capacity, the financial capacity, if you have $20,000, I 100% can help you turn it to $100,000. If you have $20, I can help you turn it to $100. You do have to have something to come to the table. Now, one of the reasons why I don't really take on a lot of people who are starting fresh in the startup world, I rather give you like a class. I rather give you development instructions such as creating an SOP. I help people who are just starting their business develop a standard operating procedure. Because if you pass away, go to the hospital, etc., I want someone to be able to come to your SOP and they should be able to run your entire company from the ground up with or without your presence. So people who are not generating revenue, I am extremely interested in creating foundational structure for you. But one of the reasons why I've been hired to help millionaires, six-figuraires, and down is because I do have the ability to take you where you are to where you want to go. So the more money you have to play with, the better I can help. But they basically came and brought me in. They had made about $250,000 the year before, and they wanted to reach $1 million in 6 months. Now, because of their status and because of their notoriety, I actually gave them an idea that they didn't even think about. This is how I know it's not that they don't know and you don't know what to do. It's that you need someone who is smart enough to see beyond what you can see. Because when you're driving a vehicle as the visionary, you're not going to see the blind spots. How many of you drive a car? It's inevitable. You can even get the little mirror and cameras all around your car and you're still not able to see the picture in whole. And also the bigger picture, you still can't see the map. And as a business development consultant, if we're great at what we do, we can not only help you see what's around you, we can help you see what's ahead of you. We can also use what has been behind you to get you strategically to where you need to go step by step. And that's what I do. So y'all, ask your questions. Test me right now. I always say this. Forget me talking. Honey, I can talk all day. Ask me a question and put me to the test and see what I can do in real time. That's the only way you can know if somebody's good enough to help you. Because here's the thing. I could tell you every single thing I've experienced. I could tell you every single thing I've went through. I can tell you every person, maybe not their names and who, but I could tell you what we did and what we worked on. But it's nothing like telling you for yourself, right? So what I did for that NBA player, they had $250,000 to start with, right? So that, trust me, once we sat down, look at the financials, we look at the data, we see where the numbers were coming in, who brought it, what brought it. It just took nothing. It literally took me, like 30 minutes. It took me 30 minutes. So we had a consultation, and then the next session, they had a whole game plan. whole entire game plan. And one of the goals was to how do we get across the nation real fast, and how and that would help them get that $1 million too, with the vision to get across the nation. And so sometimes people just need fresh perspective. And so I'm encouraging every single business owner, if you are a small business owner, entrepreneurs are investors. They don't care much about the community. Not saying they don't care like heartless, but as in they're not interested. For example, I gave you one earlier, apartment complexes, mall complexes, like those big organizations that jump in and you have 10 people coming to the table and they putting $1 million in. They did that 30 times. Talk to you later, Shane. They did that 30 times over and over in other cities and states, and they're completely in Timbuktu, not interested in what's happening in their community. Those are entrepreneurs. And so my small business owners, you all have questions and I have answers. And the only way I can help you is if you ask. And if you don't want to ask me, ask someone and see what they tell you. See what it, in business, you have to leave your emotions at home. You just have to. Like, I'm telling you, I've been through a lot as a business owner. But baby, I don't have time to cry. Now, I may have cried in my shower. I may have had a little sad moment and just was like, oh, I hate that I just went through that. But guess what? Business is not personal. It's cutthroat, actually. And you have to have the gut and the grit to handle it. And so I'm encouraging y'all, ask me anything. If you want to say, well, Rosetta, I hear you talking. It sounds good. You sound great. Okay, you can't tell us everybody you work with. You can go to Crowning Essence pages on Instagram and Facebook, and you can absolutely see some of the people who have who was excited to share their experience because it wasn't as exclusive. It wasn't a NDA situation. But when you're working in the industry, it is a little different. You are a little more private. Depending on what the project is. So anyway, y'all ask me anything. I'm here until 11 o'clock. I'm looking for my shoe. I'm here until 11 o'clock for you. 11 o'clock. You have me literally until 11 o'clock, and you can ask anything. One of the things that I can tell you as a small business owner is consistency. And we all hear that word a lot. But consistency is not just consistency, wake up and clock in or go into your emails and check it. Consistency is having that same energy you had when you started it. That's something we don't talk about a lot. Excuse me, y'all. That's something we don't talk about a lot in the business community. We use the word consistency, but we don't talk about what type of consistency. Not just consistency to wake up every day and make a post. No, you got to have that energy that you had when the vision came to you and you got excited about implementing. Your energy has to stay the same. Now, of course, you're going to have bad days and tough days and sad days, but your energy, your overall energy, for example, it's almost like let me give you an equivalent. It's almost like taking care of your children. If you really love your child and you've seen them when they was a baby and you just really a good parent, this example makes sense as it relates to business. My energy, my overall energy towards my children is I want them to do well. I want them to have the best life possible. I want them to experience things that they want to experience. Not what I want them to experience, but what they want to do. I want them to follow their soul's passion. So my energy for them is the same. Now, do we have tough days? Do I have to discipline them? Do I have to correct them? Do I have to be tough sometimes and sometimes just hold them? And so the shift of the emotions change throughout the journey, but my overall energy to support them and love them is the same. It's the same way in business and your vision. What vision you started with, if it's profitable, your energy must stay the same behind it. Yes, you're going to have little moments of hard turmoils and sad days, but the overall construct of your passion and energy behind it. Because if your consistency of the energy behind your vision and your ideal or business is not the same, I promise you it's going to affect how you perform. It's going to affect how it performs in a community. Some other tips that I could give you, and if you have questions, y'all, please ask a question. And if you don't have one, Get someone on here who you know been talking about it. One of the things that I want to call out to, I think this is very important. Just because you start a business, just because you own a business and it's doing well, you can absolutely help other people. That does not make you a business coach. That does not make you a business consultant. That does not, it's a difference. It is an absolute difference. Just for example, and this is why I want to kind of, I'm breaking that narrative. I'm starting to break that construct up because it's getting a little meshed, right? People who have started businesses and they are doing well, or if they fail, because you failing in a business makes you an expert as well. That doesn't make you an expert to coach every single person that's doing something outside of your lane. So if you've opened a club and it's open, it succeeded, it failed, whatever the results were, you are now an expert of understanding that process to the capacity you experience. So therefore, when someone say they want to open a club or a restaurant, whatever it is that you have done, you absolutely can work with other people who are trying to do that. But if you have a club or a restaurant, or you are an artist, or you are a, a stylist, what you doing trying to help somebody who is launching a Care Bear company with bears to give the kids stuffed animals where they can come in and make stuffed animals and they want to sell it to children? That's totally outside of your lane. So a lot of people are doing great things and they're trying to help the world, but they haven't helped themselves. Listen, stay in your lane. And I'm not telling you can't go and be a coach. But listen, a business coach, if they are good at what they do, they know all of the industries. They know business. Listen, it has nothing to do with what you're selling. It has everything to do with what you know and how you have helped. And a business coach have helped so many people in so many different industries that has allowed them to be a mastermind of information, wisdom, expertise, and knowledge to create strategies and implement these different processes for you to be able to have a sustainable business. So therefore, I'm encouraging you. I know you all want to help, but listen, unless your business is making, I was listening to a guy, I went to a conference, and I can't remember his name, but he was an amazing, he had a spirit like Mark Cuban, but he's not a billionaire, he was a millionaire. And so I love Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, one day I'll sit with him at a table because we think alike, and it's that's my boy. But anyway, this guy, I'm in this conference, and he did something so great that he ended up making $1 million off of it, to the point to where now he's generating like 13.5 million in his company every year for the last 4 years, over 13 million. So every year it's increasing. So he started with his first $1 million about 25 years ago, and then every year it's increasing. So if I'm not mistaken, it's with all the new employees and stuff, the profit is at 13.5 million. That's a big deal. Making $1 million in your business, and it's a small company 25 years ago, hiring a team of 100 people plus, and you're still profiting 13 million. So that means in revenue, he's probably bringing in so much more than that, right? But his profits, after he pay out all his taxes, his employees, himself, they're making about 13.5. Well, you know what he said? He said, now that he has sustained his business long enough and it's working, he is actually doing consulting work. So what I'm encouraging people who own small businesses, I know you all want to help other people so bad, but we cannot let the people who are trained to help. It reminds me of like a lawyer. Yes, you might understand law. Yes, you might understand and have studied it. And you might have even been a paralegal. That doesn't make you a lawyer. And so because you're not a lawyer, you want to encourage the people that you're trying to give law advice to, encourage them to go get a lawyer. This is why when you hear people talk about medical stuff, because they didn't get a medical degree, because they didn't go and get all of those things that you have to understand the medical field, they'll give you what they know based off their parameters, but they say at the end, you need to go talk to an expert or professional. This is the same language I want you all to start using in your own life. Many of us are not trained to help businesses at the capacity that they need help. And a lot of business owners, I see it every single day. Like, I'm a business development consultant. Therefore, this is what I do. I breathe this. I live this. This is my lane. I'm equivalent to a lawyer for your legal problems. I'm equivalent to that for your business problems, right? And so when it comes to business support, we have to stop putting people who haven't done what the person needs. They haven't done it and they're trying to teach them. I have helped people make money in their business. I have helped people get solutions to their problems. Every problem is not a money problem, but the problems will either break them or make them in a financial way in their business. And so I've helped people in business owners in every single realm, in every single revenue bracket, almost, except a billionaire. I haven't worked with a billionaire, and I'm not quite ready for the billionaire, but I've worked with millionaires on down. And I've worked with people from dancing, from artists, from NBA players, to veterans, to philanthropists, to stylists. Like, I have, it's every industry I've touched. I if I just start listing it all, what else? The technical, when I applied to be a part of Systems Award Management, they ask you what industries do you serve, and they popped up like 14 different industries. I clicked every single one of them because I've helped someone who started a business or have a business in every single industry. And so what I'm telling you all respectfully, if you haven't helped someone do it before, if you haven't done it yourself, stop trying to coach people and just focus on your vision. Listen, many of you all have not committed 365 days to your visions. A lot of people, a lot of business owners, and I know this is a tough conversation. Y'all cannot be sensitive when it comes to Rosetta. You have got to leave your emotions at home, because I'm going to be honest with you. This is not me being a know-it-all. This is me literally knowing as much as I need to know, and I'm going to continue to know as much as I need to know to help you. So I do know a lot. I've always known a lot, but I do live this every day. Listen, if you work a job and you started a business and it failed, and you are absolutely qualified to tell someone about that business and about how it failed. If you work a job or you started a business and it succeeded and you're still making it succeed, please, by all means, consult with people who are trying to do what you've done. But if you haven't done it or helped anyone else do it, sit back and focus on, here's my thing. If it's people out here qualified to get the job done, why would you spend all your energy helping people get it done? Now, a lot of y'all are missing out on money too. You're coaching people and you're not getting the return from it. And so business is business. People talk about capitalism. Well, if you live in America, welcome to America. Get over it. Now, I had someone tell me, they was like, are you a black capitalist? Like, I guess she was trying to say, this was like 5 years ago, I think. Yeah, 5 years ago. She basically asked me, she said, are you trying to make profit off black people and not give it back? And I said, excuse you? I'm a philanthropist. I love giving money to my people. I like that. That's what's wrong. I've been giving too much free. But here's the thing. Don't be afraid to make money. If you have a good heart and you are a philanthropist, I'm asking you to put your money back into your community. How do you do that? Be an entrepreneur. So say, for example, if you make $25,000 in profits and all your expenses are covered and your living expenses are covered, and you're like, oh, I could put this in a stock. You could put this in a REITs. You could put it in many different things. I'm encouraging you, if you have a philanthropic heart like myself, take that money and put it into somebody's business. And so I've been privileged to take $10,000 and put it into 7 women-owned businesses. And they were able to make some money, and they were able to launch their ideas, and we were able to test and see if those ideas were good. This is way before I focused on becoming a business coach. I became a business development consultant because I witnessed that after you do all the philanthropic work, after you do all the education and teaching, people still need the one-on-one weekly, bi-weekly help, period. There are decisions that need to be made every day, and they need someone on their team that they can text, email, or call and say, I do not know what to do. They are offering me $250,000 for this idea. Do you think this is worth it? This is real, and it's a real thing, and you need someone on your team who is qualified to guide you through that. So when you get that phone call, when I got that phone call, hey, it's because I'm on their payroll. I like being on retainers. You can think of me as a lawyer to legal problems. I'm your business coach to your business challenges, right? And in those challenges, sometimes legalities is one of the problems. So as a business coach, I'm designed and qualified to help you understand when you need to go hire someone else to help. We outsource jobs all the time. I have attorneys on my team that are business owners and lawyers on my team that are business owners that I'm going to refer to my clients. Why? Because we're going to eat together, all of us. And I trust people. I believe one of the biggest things you can do in this world of business is trust and integrity. And I'm big on that. If I don't bring anything else to your life, you can trust me. That's why I have you sign a confidentiality policy. And it talks about what we talk about is between us. And you could talk about the experience of it. You could talk about promoting it. Hey, everybody go talk to Rosetta, or vice versa. Everyone go shop with this person or go hire this person. But we're not talking about the details, because your intellectual property belongs to you and your organization. And some intellectual property do not need to be put out because it needs to be worked through. It needs to be implemented. It needs to be strategically aligned to where you need to get data. It's a lot to it. I don't talk the whole time. Y'all won't ask me any questions. But I can do this again. I know y'all working on Can We Trust Rosetta? Who is Rosetta? Crowning Your Essence. I have worked so hard to make this company be known as a business development consulting company. And I am so grateful that it has been getting what it deserves. It's been getting the energy it needs to showcase what we can do. Yeah, come on, y'all. Give me one question. We don't just watch me and listen to me and talk about me in your head or to whoever you sit next to. Like, really tap in and ask those questions, Like I said, I'm just here to serve. This is me doing my philanthropic work, because every hour it costs $250 an hour to sit with me. It does. And you say, Rosetta, why? Well, just listen to the stuff I just shared with you, and I don't even know anything about you and your business. Imagine what you think I can do once I know what you're really going through in your business. In 30-minute consultations, I give strategies that could carry you through a year. And actually, if you implement it, you have to show up. Listen, as a business development consultant, we don't work in your company. We help you work on the company. So you don't get to ask me to come pull up. You don't get to ask me to make you a flyer, create your presentation, go and do your sales work. No. Now, I do advising, meaning in real time, if you have a sales meeting or a sales pitch, or you have something going on and you want to secure some funding, or you want to secure a client, you can have me on your team for that. So that is something that I do bring to the table. I've been known to close deals. I had a client in Atlanta that rented a top venue there. You probably see me post about it. But the venue cost about $15,000, and I talked them down to $7,000. That's what I do. They would have went down to $4,000 if it wasn't their first year. The business had been in business for over a decade, but they just came back outside. So they were in business for the first 3 years, 2013 to 2015, and they just been idle up until this year. And so I came and stepped in. They hired me, and I helped them get the venue from $15,000 to $7,000. And I just spoke to the lady who gave us the tour, who was the sales rep. And so she is the one that makes sure you buy into the venue. I've also been in situations where, they charge maybe $4,000 and I end up getting it down to $500. So I am an excellent saleswoman. I do believe sales is the number one thing that you need to have when it comes to your business. If you don't know how to sell your product or sell your service, it won't sustain. So you have to be diligent, you have to be willing, and you cannot be running several thousand businesses at once. One of the biggest mistakes, I got 5 more minutes, so if y'all have a question, drop it. But one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make is that they get into too many projects at one time. So it's not that your business idea is bad. It's not that you don't have clients or customers that want to buy into you. It's more simple. You have too much going on. And that makes people very uncomfortable. When I tell people that, I can see their eyes rolling inside their head. I can feel their energy shift. I can tell they're like, ooh, who she thinks she is. But I'm going to be honest with you. I will be completely honest with you. You have too much going on. And I'll tell you that in a consultation. I'll tell you, you have too much going on. This is why your business is not succeeding. You're doing too much. You're spending too much money than what you're making. You're spending way too much money than what you're making. Seriously. Like, you're making $5,000 a month, but you're spending $4,000. And truthfully, you only need to spend $2,000 to make the business run. So a lot of us are just bad financial habits. And so I encourage every single business owner to have a financial advisor. And if you have a good business coach, they will tell you you need to get you in some classes. Y'all want to go to classes to hear about business operations and how to get your business. Like, y'all are oversaturated too with education and information. I feel so sorry for my community in Chattanooga, because Chattanooga is notorious for oversaturating my business owners with too much information. And that's not what they need, y'all. So if you are a leader and you are one of the people that are constantly putting on classes to teach this, teach that, show this, show that, listen, business owners need one-on-one help. Business owners need one-on-one help. They need to be able to have someone to look at their business and their business alone. They don't need generic information and in general information. They need it directly to them. So if you are a nonprofit leader that helps small businesses, or you are a philanthropist that love investing in entrepreneurs and small business owners, I'm asking you and begging you to not keep giving stipends to people to put on classes. Give them stipends to actually work directly with the business owner. Give me some money to work directly with the business owner, right? I charge $2,000 a month, and that's minimum and wiggle room. But for my people who have financial restraints, I charge $500 a month. And I also understand that sometimes people cannot pay that. And so I'm willing to do philanthropic work, because I know for a fact that what I put into you, if you follow the math, if you follow the strategies and you do the work that I tell you to do, because I'm the expert and I see you and I hear you and I've measured all your data, if you listen to your coach and follow through with the plan, you will make money. Now, most people come and talk to me one time and say I'm their coach. No, don't put that energy on me. Some people come talk to me 3 times, 4 times and say I'm their coach. No, I'm not your coach. I'm returning that to sender, because if I'm your business development coach, or I'm with you every week or every 2 weeks, and I'm going to stick with you for 6 months. You need at least 6 months worth of work. And then after that, if I'm not with you anymore, I'm no longer your coach. Because one of the things that you must understand is that you need to have someone hired on permanently. So find someone that you can meet, they can meet you where you are. And so I had a lady recently, she has a very, very popular brand, extremely popular. She stretched her money out so incorrectly with so much bad financial habits that she doesn't have the financial availability to invest at my $2,000 a month. But once she implements the strategies and she does the work, she will reach that capacity. So my goal is to meet you where you are, get you to where you need to be, so I can get paid the money that I'm due and deserve. And then we can take you on further. And so I love being on retainers. I have a lot of people that want to meet with me for 30 minutes and they go on about their business and I never see them again. And I'm going to tell you something. When it comes to a business, honey, I have to know all the workings. You have to be completely transparent. That's why I make you sign a confidentiality policy. Your personal life, it absolutely affects your business life if you're a business owner. If you are a sole business owner or you have a little bitty small team, you absolutely have to be very mindful of what's going on in your personal life. I see people spending $10,000 a year on excursions and leisure, and they haven't earned it. You have to earn your leisure. Every time you see me go out of town or on a trip, you best believe I did some business. We're going to make this a business trip because Uncle Sam appreciates when we are conducting business and we are lowering our taxes. And unfortunately, business owners do get a nice kickback. So if I go to Florida, I make sure that I do business so I can get some of my money back, right? So if I made $50,000 that year, I want to make sure that on paper, it looked like I only made 13. Why? Because you need to have expenses. You don't want to, and I really want to make it look like I made -5, and you can if you do it the right way. And it's legal. This stuff is legal. I can keep talking. All I can tell y'all, listen, you have got to be okay with asking for help as a small business owner. You have to be okay with not being too busy. You running too many business projects. You got ABC Group. You got 2, 3, 4, 5 Incorporated. You got the job you're working 9 to 5. You got all this stuff going on, and you wonder, I don't have any clients. I can't make any money. Well, honey, I promise you, if the time you put into everything else, you put into one vision for 365 days, I promise you'll have a different conversation the next year. So I'm challenging every single small business owner that watches this live. Been on here for an hour almost. In 3 minutes, it'll be an hour. I'm challenging every single business owner on this that watches this live. Please, let me grab my phone. Please, first and foremost, get you a business coach. Get you a business advisor. Stop trying to do it alone. Listen, they will meet you where you are. If you have a good idea and a good business, and here, check this out. If you don't have any money to pay me and your business idea is worth it, then I can do owner's equity. I'll help you get to the top, and then you give me a kickback on the end. Now, I can't do this for every person because then I'll be homeless. So I can't do this for every business, but I'd be homeless if I did that. But I do make room to help people. And I'm only going to help you if you are just as hungry as I am to help you. And that's one thing that I have to speak on. I don't want to help business owners who are not hungry to do the work. You have to be more excited about your vision than I am, because I'm going to be excited about your vision. I want you to understand that I am absolutely going to stand 10 toes in helping you with your business and helping you with your vision. And I'm going to bring the energy you need. I'm going to bring the motivating spirit you need, but I'm also going to bring you the solutions you need. What you have to bring to the table besides your money, because I had one person, a client that paid me money and I didn't see them for 3 weeks. You don't get a refund with me, because once we had a consultation, I already give you 30 minutes for free. Technically, that's $125 of my time. And it's, to me, worth more, because if you've had a consultation with me, you've seen the work I've done in the consultation and giving you strategies and giving you solutions that can actually get your business off the ground for the next year. So I'm already giving you a lot, right? You don't get a refund, but I will give you a reality check, and I will tell you, let's get this done. And if you don't want to get it done, you no longer get to say, my business is not working because I'm this, I'm that. It's you. That's when it's the reality. It's you. At some point, you got to take accountability and say, you know what? This is not a bad idea. This is not a bad business. It's me. I'm not serious enough. I'm not dedicated enough. Even though God gave me this vision, I think I'm not good enough to implement it, right? I think we have this imposter syndrome where you think you're not good enough to do the thing that you came up with or that was given to you. You are good enough, honey. You are amazing. You are worthy. And if your business idea is serving a demand or a need, please make sure you see it through. And get some professional help. Even if you don't hire me, hire someone to help you. They should, if it's a really good idea and it's a really good business model, or it has the potential to be a good business model, an excellent business coach and advisor will most certainly meet you where you are. Let's get to work. No more excuses. I've been here for an hour. I'm getting off this live. I got so much work to do, but I wanted to take time out and serve you all. No one asked me any questions. I just seen people pop in and pop out. You know, I would love to hear from you all more. I don't know what I need to do to make you speak on it, but I think one of the reasons why y'all won't ask the questions is because you are afraid that that answer is going to put you in a position that you might actually have to do some work. And you like excuses, and you may not. So I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but some of you all enjoy having an excuse to why you're not succeeding. And if you fool with Rosetta, I'm going to put you in a position to where you cannot make excuses anymore. Moving forward, it'll be on you. It's on you. It has nothing to do with anybody else but you. So my last tips, and I'm out. Number one, I mentioned it earlier. Make sure you make time to focus on one thing at a time. Okay? One thing at a time, one project. I'm not saying if everything you do is for your one business, perfect, because you're in testing, you're doing testing, trial, ideation to execution is extremely important. So you're in test mode. But if you have this business, that philanthropic effort, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. And that's where the burnout comes in. That's where the overwhelm comes in. That's where the irritation comes in. That's where the frustration comes in. This is where you start getting demotivated because now you're overwhelmed. So let me help you. Let me guide you. If you have a question and you're like, well, I didn't want to ask on the live, but I just want to see what Rosetta's talking about. Come get your free 30 minutes with me. I love talking, teaching, educating, and putting people in position to win. My number one goal at Crowning Your Essence, our number one goal is to help you create generational sustainability and positive impact in your leadership. I love you all. It's been exciting talking to you all, seeing some of the comments. Thank you all for engaging. For those who did, please be ready to ask questions. I'll do this again. I don't know when, but if you have questions and you replay this live and you're watching a live, or you just popped in, please feel free to message me your questions. And I most certainly would rather you book a consultation if you have a serious challenge going on in your business, vision, or idea, okay? I'd much rather you book a consultation. Don't overwhelm my inbox, but if you have general questions, I can bring them to the next live I do. For now, y'all have a beautiful Monday. It's November. Crowning Your Essence November's challenge is Have Gratitude. So you can join me on these challenges. This is the third challenge that I've done this year. And so November's challenge is Have Gratitude. All month long, I'm asking you to have gratitude for the little things in your life, the big things in your life. And it could be worse. And it's not to compare it to somebody else worse or better. It's to yourself. You're breathing, you are alive, and you have the opportunity to get up and do something. So if you have the opportunity to get up and change your narrative, even as simple as how you think, I'm asking you to have some gratitude. I love you all. Bye for now. Stay tapped in. You never know when I go live and do another Q&A session. Bye for now. Peace.